Whew, little change of pace. So I got this PSI head that I recently got. This is already sold. So that's good to go. Also, it's a busy weekend. I got this CDI sold as well. Now, something I always do every time I sell a CDI, because any of these I sell, I have tested and verified. I know they work, and I've had issues in the past with people. So anymore, I always put an AKP for AK Pro XR. Always mark my CDIs with that before I ship them out. That way if there's an issue and they try saying it doesn't work, and then they try to send me a different one back, I can tell. But yeah, so gotta go to the post office, get some boxes, get this stuff shipped out, and yeah, I got a decent amount out of the two. Not getting rich or nothing, and that's something I gotta explain a little bit. I sell a ton of parts. However, I don't exactly like bankroll all the money from that. All the money I make from selling parts goes right back into my sleds, so I continue to build them and make content for you guys. Also, all my 440 parts that came out of the 800 mod I built, everything there is sold. They're going to a buddy of mine. I'm giving him an absolutely screaming deal. Everything from the can to the pipe, the entire motor, the whole fuel system, carbs, CDI, air box, all of it. Even the steering post. And I'm gonna sell all that stuff off for pretty cheap, honestly. About the same as I got for that box and head. So they're getting hooked up, but you know, I could make a lot more off that stuff, but I'd rather see somebody I know be able to put it to use. And hopefully he gets one of his sleds going using that stuff. 700 update. Like you guys seen, step one is I'm cleaning up the exhaust. It's been taking a little while. I do have a pipe in the sandblast cabinet, getting it all stripped down. And I'm undecided if I want to paint it or if I want to try to polish it up, make it look pretty. I mean, polished twin pipes are a beautiful thing. Unfortunately, then you have to deal with rust, which isn't too bad, I guess. It is something you can manage if you stay on top of it, but if you let them go too long, they get really bad. Yeah. Honestly, I didn't think they looked too bad. They aren't perfect, no, but old Steve on the Facebook gave me so much crap. Now I gotta address them and make these things look good again, along with the rest of the sled. This thing's fucking gross. You can tell I cleaned this section right here, and that's it. But the rest of the sled, pretty gross. Because it's had a couple little cleanings here and there, but never a deep clean like the Pro XR got. So, which is kind of a shame. I'm trying to find a bright white metallic paint so I can paint up a hood. I went out, I bought a spray gun and all that. I'm not gonna rattle can it because I want to try as good of a job as I can. I want to make a beautiful white hood and nose cone so I can put decals on them. Now check this out. I don't know if I did show you guys this, it's been a long time. And downstairs we go. All right, so I actually have all new decals for the XC700 sitting here. I just need to get a hood painted and we can go ahead and get these slapped on it, make that thing look like brand new. Now those weren't cheap. Those decals alone were like $300 shipped just for the decals. And I got about $500 into my seat setup for this sled. So really, it's kind of ridiculous, honestly, how much money I have into this XC700. It's, oh my God. I have more money into this sled than any other sled I own. It's kind of insane, but I love it. This is a beautiful sled. Little rough around the edges. I still need a new tub. The other side's melted. Not from twin pipes either. It was this way. I bought the sled in 2015. and the tub was pre-melted. And that's from the stock exhaust, so can't even blame me for that. Yeah, look how gross this is. She dirty. That's one of my cheap slap together motors. I've done a couple junkyard motors. Okay, my phone died, so we're getting back to this. So that is a kind of like a junkyard build motor. It runs fucking phenomenal, but I built it out of used parts. At one point this was a $70 motor. That's because I had a local shop donate, oh man, how'd that work out? I think he just gave me a really good deal on gaskets. And so pretty much the only new things on this motor were the top end gaskets and the crank seals. So the whole motor's been sealed. It's good to go. I did use used crank, used pistons, used cylinders, and obviously used head, but they're all in great condition. They're all OEM. There's no aftermarket pistons or anything like that. It's all OEM. And I did have one bad experience on that $70 motor, but I had a suspect oil pump, which has been remedied, and I also had a cracked fuel filter, and I burned it down while drag racing a brand new XCR 600 that was slammed and set up for ice racing, and we were on ice. I just had a trail studded track. We did go from a roll. I did win, but I did burn it down. And it wasn't my jetting or anything like that, because this thing is jetted rich. So let's start over and go from the details on what this thing is if you're new to the channel. This is a 1998 XC700. Okay, I have tore it down and done little things like trailing arm decals are modeled after 97, the head from 97, the exhaust, that's SLP twin pipes, their original design from 1997. You cannot buy those pipes, and you haven't been able to since back in the day. The later ones they made had a can, and these have glass packs. These are gnarly sounding in comparison to the other set. Got a bunch of trick little parts, like this billet clutch cover. I think that's like a 911 something or other cover for the primary clutch. Got a billet upper mount, which is amazing. It tightens up steering. This is a old school, like period correct jump gear, high capacity fuel tank. You can't buy that anymore. I put obviously 2-piece seat tank combo on it. This is not the seat that's staying on the sled. I had SLP ultralights, which were period correct. I swapped them out for a set of SLPs as I took this thing out racing last winter and promptly got my ass kicked because I couldn't turn. And I couldn't turn because I swapped the studded track on at the last second. The reason for that being, I needed more traction. Unfortunately, I did it the night before the race. Classic, you know. It's just kind of how things go for me. Last minute, trying to slam stuff out, get it ready, let's go race. And I did not have time to set up my rear suspension. I have way too freaking much ski lift. So I have a few things up my sleeve that I want to do to correct that. And we'll make another video about that. But anyways, too much ski lift. Didn't turn. Anytime I touch the throttle, this thing's fucking wheeling because it's an animal. It's clutched, whatever. I got a hot CDI on it. This is not a CDI that came on any sled from the factory, okay? You see that? It starts off with the 401. All factory CDIs that came on these sleds started with the 406. It took a long time, actually about 2 years for me to finally figure out exactly what the hell this CDI was. And what it is that is a later sold replacement for a 97 700. So it's got the hot timing curve in it, but it is not an original. Even though it is a Ducati, it is from Polaris, it's just not one they sold on a sled. These are handlebars from a Pro X. Nice, straight, they're not all super sweet back like the stock ones were. Master cylinder, that's from a Pro RMK or Salt, I don't remember which. Much nicer. Obviously, Cobra windshield. I put a brand spanking new headlight cover on this thing. And then how could I ever forget about this beauty right here? It's custom. It's hard to see it because it doesn't have much light, but it says AK Pro XR there. Beautiful blue dash plate. You can get those from Shane Jackson. I can't remember the email off the top of my head. I think it's players dash plates at something. I don't know. Anyways, go on Facebook, find him. Shane Jackson. Beautiful. Love them. I actually have another one to put on my XR for 40, but I haven't got to that point yet. Issues with the sled. Obviously, ski lift. The front shocks are ugly, and the springs are not correct to look like a 97. I want to paint the hood and put my new decals on said new hood. Got cracks and stuff. The tub is melted. I'm actively looking for a nice tub local to me. Recoil guide is wore out, which I do have a replacement for that. I have some better shocks for this. It does have good box shocks, but I have better shocks for it. But that's the general breakdown for this sled. I've been working on this thing for about 6 years, trying to make it beautiful, make it nice. And we're making good progress, I feel like. It's an absolute animal. It's stupid fast. It runs about 102 GPS mile per hour, not that stupid fucking speedo shit. It does run close to 120 on the speedo, but on GPS it's 102. It still has stock gearing. So I am going to gear it up this winter and see exactly how fast we can actually make this thing go. With that said though, I kind of want to build a new motor for it as well. So I'm thinking about selling this old motor and building a fresh motor. I have a set of SLP power domes for heads that I'm going to be running, and I want to build a new motor. I want one that's just new. I got brand new pistons. I have one new old stock cylinder on the way. Still trying to find another one, and I want to put the head on it. I want to go through, I mean, the crank on this one's great. There's nothing wrong with the crank, but I kind of want to rebuild crank, which I'm not really entirely sure if I would do. And I just want something fresh. This sled, I have so much money invested in it. I think it truly deserves a new motor. So I'm trying to track down as many new parts as I can to assemble a brand new motor, and I'll probably build it out of that one. That is my original 98 XC700 motor from my other sled that I owned in the mid 2000s as a teenager. And that is a snow check motor, so it does have the 220 cylinders and all that. Or I don't know, I guess I could probably build that one, or the other one that's underneath that box, or yeah. But I think it'd be kind of cool to rebuild my old motor and put it in this sled and just have it fresh as a motherfucker. But I've put a lot of work into this thing over the years, and I think it's time we actually make this thing nice. Not just clean it up, but a nice new motor, put nice shocks on it, put better shocks in the rear, because I do have some goodies there. And then put one of these on. This right here is a crankcase plate. So what you do is your motor sits on this, boop, and it bolts in, and then, well, I guess you put your engine straps under it, right? Yeah. And then you bolt everything to the motor. And what this does is this adds additional stiffness to your crankcases, and it helps eliminate flex in the crankcase and crank, makes the bearings and everything live much longer, much happier. So that one is going to end up going in this one. I have a couple more coming. If you guys ever need something like this, there's a guy, Joe, I can't pronounce his last name, Kurscheck or something like that, on like Players in the Garage and all the Facebook pages. He has done a run of these, not obviously this brand, but one's very, very similar to this. And he's selling them for what I feel is a very reasonable price. So if you guys have 700 or 800 or even a 600 big block, that is something I personally would recommend running. So yeah, Hell yeah. Well, I'm gonna get back to doing my exhaust on the next video. I'm hopefully gonna have all the exhaust buttoned up and be able to show you guys all of that. For now though, I think I already did a sneak peek, but I think they're gonna come out really, really nice when I'm done.